Hi everybody, I'm Kathleen Byram, the author of Conversations with Donkey, A Bipolar Journey. Today I want to talk to you about weird stuff. That could be ghosts or spirit guides or UFOs or what have you. The first ghostly story I remember happening no, I don't remember it happening, that's not right. It was a story that my first husband told me. You have to appreciate the kind of person that he is to appreciate the truthfulness of what happened. He's not a person given to flights of fancy. Let's put it that way. He had a friend whose house had a ghost in it named Maggie. My husband and his friend saw this ghost together. You understand the significance of that? And he wasn't the type of person to go around making up stories, either for fun or for cruelty or for whatever reason. He wasn't like that. So this was weird. That was my first, no, I can't say my first. There were many ghost stories that I heard when I was a child of our family and things that had happened. And I remember one story about all the women in the house had been in bed, and each of them thought that they saw one of the others at their bed. And maybe they were scared and covered up and didn't respond or something. But in the morning, all of them were talking about this, how they each saw different people there at the end of their bed. And then they found out that the relative had died. I guess they found it out that day. I always thought that was a spooky story. It really got me spooked when I was a child. I loved hearing these things. I remember my Aunt Catherine was up at Indianapolis to visit, and I was probably between 11 and 14. And we were sitting by the refrigerator, and she was telling me stories of things that had happened in the house, of ghostly things and stuff. And they were talking about how I probably needed to go to bed because I was getting goosey. And I was like, no, I'm fine, because I was just croaking to hear more stories. And all of a sudden the refrigerator made a noise, and I jumped out of my skin, and I think they just about peed on themselves laughing. I loved those things. I loved to hear stories like that. And I remember my dad, not my dad telling me, my mother told me. My dad never mentioned it to me, but she said that when we were in Germany, I was born in Germany, but I'm not German. I was born on the American Army base hospital because my dad was in the service. Both my parents were Americans who came over to Germany for the service. And so he was out with a friend who, interestingly, was in intelligence. And he drove up apparently to this building that was where they had the people that worked in intelligence, perhaps. And the friend went inside and left Dad outside to wait for him. Dad said something came down over the car. He said it was a UFO. Now, my dad is also not given to foolishness. Well, maybe once in a while. We used to chase each other around with things like shaving cream and try to get it on each other. So there was foolishness that happened. He had a little foolishness in him, just like me. But not when it came to things like that. He thought those things were stupid. And so he never talked to me about it. But Mom told me about it. And there's no great ending to it. It's just simply that he saw something come down. He saw a UFO come down. And he doesn't talk about the rest of it. And here's the amazing thing. He never told his friend. His friend came back out to the car. And Dad never told him. Very strange situation. I think it's getting a little late here now. I'm going to leave you. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this.